Hi, I'm Una Taylor, and today I'm going to be talking about my journey to becoming more open. My peer perception survey results showed that I tend to be more closed off. And honestly, I would agree with these results. Being open has definitely been a struggle for me throughout my life. I do, however, recognize how important it is to improve this skill. Communication reaches so many aspects of our lives, our social lives, work lives, academic lives. And I think that allowing myself to be more open can really improve these vast areas of my life. So the surveys were really insightful and gave me a really good idea of why I tend to be more closed off and what I need to do to improve this skill. One of the big things I noticed in the observed behaviors was that I tend to be more closed off because I'll feel like a burden or I'll feel like I'm troubling somebody if I'm sharing my issues or anything significant in my life. I also don't want to talk about myself for an extended period of time. I want to listen to others and be a better listener. But I do understand that being open doesn't always mean that I'm a burden. It can actually help others. Another big thing is the context that I'm speaking in. So, if I'm having a beach day with my friends, it's probably not appropriate to have an in depth, serious conversation about significant things going on in my life or others. So, I think analyzing that is super important when becoming more open. And I just recently have not encountered any circumstances where I could really be open, especially in a social setting. Biggest thing would have to be trust. I have a really hard time trusting others. And I think this is the primary reason why I tend to be more closed off. Addressing this will really help me to become more open, but it is the biggest thing holding me back. So, from recognizing those factors and identifying how they may cause me to be more closed off, really helped me understand what I need to do to improve and how I can go about it. So, for this assignment, I decided to practice my new skill in therapy. This was a really safe space for me and a really good opportunity because it will force me to talk about my issues. And it was a really easy segue into converting this into my day to day life. In therapy, I'm not going to feel like a burden. It's my therapist's job to listen to me. The context, it's the time to talk about my issues. That's why I go to therapy. And then trust. I've seen my therapist for 5 years. She legally cannot say anything. I trust her. So this was pretty easy for me to open up. I went about the session a little differently than I typically do. The first thing I did differently was I made a list in my phone of things I wanted to address during our session. So I kept the list short so that I could go in depth with these issues, but it really helped me to organize my thoughts and get the most out of therapy that day. The second thing I did differently was I allowed myself to become more emotional. I think I suppress a lot of my emotions, and that really holds me back from being more open. Last thing I did was I was more accepting of my therapist's feedback and advice, and I took it a step further and was really sure to apply it into my day to day life. It's kind of like she gave me homework and I followed through with it in the upcoming week. This therapy session was by far the most productive. My therapist and I even talked about my struggles being open and trusting others, and she emphasized how important it is to be open during therapy because you get out what you put in. So I will definitely continue to be more open throughout my therapy sessions. I definitely see the benefit, and doing that in therapy will definitely translate into my social life, my life outside of therapy, speaking with others. It'll help me become more comfortable. I definitely see how it is possible for me to improve this skill and that I want to, and I have the resources to improve this skill as well. I'm so excited to continue working on it. I thought the assignment was very insightful overall, and it really helped me reflect on myself. Thank you so much for listening.